Alright guys, Supreme Kami here. So we are going to be doing the alteration review for the new EXSer. So we only do have 6 part here, so I think this should be a quick review. So in terms of this overall unit, if you have to ask me what is one word to describe this one, I am definitely gonna say tanky. So I'm pretty sure you guys are very well aware what kind of parts we're looking at. Like I was very surprised they pack in that much, enemy power reduction. Like this is probably like single-handedly the best unit, like singly, right? Like this unit overall. So having the most reduction trait overall. So that is actually quite crazy. So we do have 3 EXQ and then 3 parts with part rate. All 3 parts rate actually does have part reduction. So if any of you guys are trying to do like some sort of tank build, or you guys need some revive and tanking at the same time, I think ESS is definitely something that is, catered to your liking. But this is definitely not going to be for everyone's suit, because if you guys are purely trying to see, oh, can I hit hard? Can I use these parts to make my strong, like, hit harder, for example? I would definitely say this is definitely not the one for you guys. But in terms of the overall shot stat attack, it's not too terrible. Like even initially, I was a little bit skeptical before even doing the stat comparison, but it turns out alright. I'll definitely say some part could be better, but let's kind of get started. So let's take a look at head parts. So right off the bat, we have a awakening. This is gonna be the Alice. So you guys already know I really don't have a liking for these awakening, just because of the fact that when you activate any of this EXQ, I think even for the late EXQ, or I don't know if this is awakening, I would definitely need to double check. So this one probably is, I don't recall, but this one I happen to use this one because I did pull it. This one is a awakenable, if I remember. So yeah, so you pop this one for a second, you want to activate this one. You're gonna gain that 40% up to 49%. But guess what, once you activate some awakenable EX skill, like maybe these two here, it cancels out. So that's why I'm not really the biggest fan. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. I guess they do have to put in Alice in this overall unit, because that's really all this unit has, right? So but yeah, if you do want to do any subslotting, I think that is also going to be great, because you can just kind of look at anything that has, let's say, ace exclusive, and then you should be fine. But I'll definitely say the weakest portion of this overall unit is the fact that they pack in for computer. I don't know, man. Like every single part has for computer attached on, and just like, not that for computer is bad, but it's just the fact that most of the time you'll probably not be running a for computer type map. So what that means is you're not going to be gaining that 5% boosting. So most of the time you'll be rocking at 3%, which is actually just not good enough, because like let's say if you don't run for computer, let's say you run high firepower or Gundam type instead, they will be 2% more higher. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. These tags are just so specific to that mapping, and then anything else they're bad. So I don't know. In terms of the other alternative attribute, I don't think it has that great of a word tag either. I believe the old one actually does have transformer, which is even worse. Because transformer actually does not, I think it still gives 5%. No, it does not. It gives you 10% shot defense while 5% melee attack. So yeah, even the old one was just a little bit, huh? Yeah. So the overall EXS in terms of word tag wise is just, it's a fumble overall. But if we do take a look at stat on itself and everything else, it looks good. Stat wise looks alright. Shot attack with the 40% change gear, we are looking up to a 16.8k. So that's that's pretty much reasonable. That's pretty much something that you would see within like the upper section of over here. Like even this, right? Second V, that is something that came out 6 to 7 months ago, and it's still rocking, second place. So so I don't know. Like, so this one eventually may or may not fall the clip, just because of the fact that it does have some pretty bad stats, and it does have a wicked EX. So if you guys do pull the head part, I would definitely say I would definitely hold up on the alteration, just because we have so many better options up here, and then even down this section. So yeah, this one for me, in my opinion, I'm just gonna hold up on this one. Not really my take. But switching gear over to the torso, is where I think where the party kind of starts. So so switching over to the torso, and this is what we have. So yeah, torso, we are kind of right now top podium, so that's kind of good. And Now these are going to be some of the following, 7-star build parts. So those are going to be following, so not bad overall. So in terms of this one is specifically caters for you being able to survive any situation. So let's say your enemy pop your first life, you come back with 75% at max. So this one actually starts out at 50% already. So this is actually quite good. So for anyone that is maybe struggling with some hard content, you die and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done. So, but if you have this one, you can revive one time per. I said only one time, so that's actually good. Not only does it have revive, it also does have enemy all power reduction. So that aspect is actually quite neat because if you do have a few of these going on, I think what they have been doing, like for this one specifically, they pack in specifically all power. So melee getting reduced, shot getting reduced, EX skill getting reduced. So if you talk about, let's say, stage 20 or chapter 20, and you need just a little bit of that defensive line, I think this one definitely helped you in a long shot. But do keep that in mind in terms of the actual melee attack. If you do want to throw this into melee build for whatever reason, your actual melee attack output, it is going to get decreased by 20%. So do be aware of that portion. But other than that, being able to revive and then be able to tank, that is definitely going to help you guys in those hard content, specifically anyone right now that is struggling with the stage 20. I believe it's the actual last stage. So once I do get up to what is it, chapter 20-11, I think it was that stage. Once I do get to that stage, I will try to build like a free-to-play esque, using standard part, maybe sprinkle in a little bit of those limited part and see what I can do. I'll try to see if I can muster up like a reduction type build, because I do have a few of those, and then we'll see how that goes. But I don't think it will be that difficult, just because what I have seen people do, they just don't build their build right. So you guys, like, even though you might have some pretty low stat, you may not be reaching that 100k or something like that, but if you play your cards right, if you play all your parts right correctly, you can definitely smash it, no problem. So it's just a matter of time, just taking that time, sitting down and see, oh, like, am I packing the right portrait? If so, you guys should be good. So, but yeah, this one overall, I think it's a perfect combo in my opinion. I pulled this torso, so I was very fortunate enough. So I am actually baking this one currently, so this is what I'm working on. Definitely 10 out of 10 if anyone is trying to do like a reduction, like just like a tank build, because simply this is not meant to do any damage. It's not meant for that. This one is simply meant to be for fun. Doing friend battle, your friend died, they can kill you, but nope, you get revived on the spot. So this is more for fun. This is like the other aspect of the Gundam Mobile. It's just all for fun. It's not simply to, oh, let me see if I can get top podium in arena. This one is simply not about that. So but in my opinion, I like this torso part. Definitely really good. Overall stat definitely really shine as well. Pretty good armor if I have to say so myself. So overall, definitely very satisfied with the torso, and I believe this is actually the first pairing, so keep that in mind as well. We never have something like that before, so first of its kind. All right, moving over to the arm. Definitely in terms of the arm section, it is the first of its kind once again. So in this unit alone, we have something that has never been paired up before, and I would say it's good. It's good to see different combination that we have not seen before. So this is definitely gonna shine some new lights into this combination later down the road. So in terms of this one, overall stat, I would definitely say it's a very balanced type one. You guys can see that in terms of melee attack, it's actually not too shabby, but I'm not gonna say it's gonna make it into anywhere in, let's say, the melee department. It's not that, but this one overall does have some pretty decently balanced stat. Word type wise, continue to have for computer, that's just why. It does pack high firepower, which is actually good. So this is where the other fun portrait comes into handy. So this is actually the first time they pack in, I believe so, right? Yeah, I think this is actually the first time they pack in like an actual 25% initial charge boosting. So this one is gonna help kickstart your first time, like your EX skill. So usually they have a condition, like that first time condition, you have to wait just a little bit, like maybe 30 seconds for casting EX skill. In terms of some, let's say cooldown there, like 30 seconds, they may have a first time that initial period where you have to wait 8 seconds, 6 seconds, or whatever. So this one being able to kind of cover that aspect is actually quite good. And this one does also have a all power reduction by 35%. So this one in total, like this one right here, 35 at max out, And then this one max out is 35 again. So in total, you're getting up to a 70% reduction. So that's max out, right? So you're starting out at 20%. That's actually pretty good already. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just it's fun, you know. Just being able to reduce your enemy or your friends, you know, damage output is actually quite nice. But in a real world scenario, in a way, I would definitely say power boosting trade just outshine any of these reductions. So if your friend just casts a custom EX skill without, like, if you don't have any revive and they cast a custom EX skill on you, 10 out of 10 times you will die. So but they still fun, you know. They are still a enjoyable part to be running, but definitely not gonna be for everyone. So kind of make that point as well. So overall, I am definitely very satisfied with how they worded the overall arm trade. It's just really good. Definitely something that we have pretty much not seen before, specifically on the arm section. So definitely thumbs up on this one. 10 out of 10 for me specifically. So alright, so moving over to the leg. So the leg part does have the same EX skill. So let's kind of check the stat first. So gonna be top 1 at the moment, and then these are some of the other honorable mention part as well. So all these are still fairly good to this day. So so for those of you that does not know, I did actually make the big scale column. So if I did put a yes, that means they do have a big scale property, which you guys can see that it is 1 to 100 scale. So just another easy way for you guys to distinguish you know, normal parts and then big scale parts. So yeah, this one overall does have the same EX skill, the reflector income, so not anything too special. This pack up all the way to SS power, so SS minus power, so it's gonna hit somewhat hard. So starting out at S plus, so okay, that's not too bad. Let's kind of take a look at the condition of the effects. So it is gonna raise your speed of your squad by 20%, so that's good. Now it's gonna raise shot attack of your squad by 29% only. Excuse me. Can we actually get like a 49% just like the Infinite Justice, please? I don't think that's too much to ask for. Like, I would even say Infinite Justice, in terms of what it's packing for that one, is a lot more, you know, let's say more utility based, while this one not so much, because they are, let's say, raising a beam resistant of your squad by 89%. 89% seems like a very high number, but if your enemy does cast a custom EX skill, you're gonna die. Like, I don't think there's any situation where you don't die from like this one is beam, right? So if your enemy casts, let's say, rampage, like that 4-star post Rambo Gundam Torso, like you're not surviving. You know, you're just not gonna do it, because in terms of the overall stat for, let's say, beam resistant, it's just not high enough. So yeah, they will have to make it maybe quadruple that, maybe make it like 300%, 200% to actually make it matter. You can definitely factor in those buff trays, but even buff trays, I don't think you can survive from that. You know, it's just power boosting trade really diminishes all these kind of reduction and then, you know, defensive, you know, aspect of it. So unless they make this like a way higher number, like let's say even way high, 500%, I don't even think you'll be able to survive. Just the base stat is too low, and then percentage is just too low. Even the buff trade won't even help it by that much. So it's a good feature, but just not really for those, like, you know, anything that's gonna be, you just don't tank certain beam attacks. So this one does also resist, let's say, flinching for a set period of time, so that's actually a very good feature. But this middle parter, that third effects, is just not gonna be that handy overall. So in terms of looking at the overall stat, that's look pretty good. Some pretty nice, decently chunks of armor, so that's good to see. And then dual high defensive, that's actually quite good to see as well. So not bad. 10k, yeah, that's very exceptional. Alright, so moving over to the back section, and this is where the third fun begins as well. In terms of the overall stat, just comparing it, it's not really like, you know, high. It's good, you know, but just not as high as I wish it would be. But in terms of the portrait, whew, look at that. I think the back part is probably the best part of the set, right? I think most of you guys would definitely agree. So this one, in terms of the first condition, a long rifle category, so whether or not you have the long rifle, if you're using a skin, put a long rifle in your skin. If you guys are not using the skin, which I highly recommend you guys do, your main build should have a long rifle, and then you can take benefit of the enemy shooting damage plus 50. This one is actually a very good portrait. That, you know, this one is literally the same thing we have been seeing. Is actually the It's just they put a cut. It's cut minus that percentage, so now they change it to damage plus. It is still good. This is definitely, I will have to say, a must run nowadays, just because in terms of how the calculation, apparently how it should be working, this one definitely allow your output to just exponentially explode. So if you guys pack a few of this portrait here, you guys are just going to be able to just do good damage overall. So I would definitely say you would need a good mixture of regular power boosting and then these types of enemy damage plus percentage in order to get the best out of it. But overall, looking at 50%, so starting out you are looking at 30% already. So this is actually quite debunker already. And not only that, you're actually getting another all power reduction like to your enemy. Like, what kind of portrait is this? You know, this is perfect for anyone that is doing like a tank build. This is like absurd in my opinion. 25% starting out and 30% to that damage plus 30. Like, whew, man. I wish I put a backpack. I would definitely bake this like ASAP. So this one overall, if you guys were able to put a backpack, depending if you guys want to do that type of build, like a tanky build for example, this one is definitely going to be your best friend. And then maxing out up to 45%. So so looking at the first two portraits, they max out at 35 each. So both of them together 70%. And then you add this one, you're rocking at 115. So I don't know, man. Maxing out all those three portraits is actually a dream in just anyone's arsenal if they want to do like a tank build. But obviously, I know in terms of maxing out, it's pretty much going to be impossible depending on like what kind of spending you're looking at or if you guys are free to play. But yeah, overall, I'm just kind of happy that we have something of this caliber. So yeah, just good. All right, last but not least, we do have the smart or beam smart gun here. So in terms of the overall stat, the base shot attack is actually a little bit low in my opinion. Even though they did try to make it up by just packing in a lot of good shot defense, which does actually help. So we did make it all the way up to some of the top podium stat. In terms of comparing to the top podium, it's only up by 600. So I wouldn't call this one that awful. Alright, so let's kind of take a look at the EX skill. So EX skill wise, we do have the beam smart gun. So I did actually pull it, and then I am still in the process of trying it to see if this one had iframe or not. I believe this one does not seem like it had iframe. I'll definitely go back in and just double check. In terms of this one, it does actually raise your shot attack up by 24%, so that's actually quite good. So not bad overall. In terms of the war type wise, same thing again. So yeah, in terms of this one, not really much to say in a way. I would definitely not alterate it because this one initially, just look at it by sub 1 to 1 for the score scale, it is quite big already. So I just don't think it needs an alteration. We can even take a look at it. What is it at base, an alterated version, and B plus. So I would say B plus should do the job because you are actually getting that attack raise already. So you should be hitting like a truck already. So yeah, I think overall we do definitely have some pretty fun portrait. Looking at the EXS, I know that is not going to be for everyone. So it's going to be maybe for a handful of players that want to work on like a reduction type build, which is just for fun. It's not going to be anything too competitive, but I think overall they definitely did a very good job into creating two combination portrait. In terms of those two languages, we have not seen those pairing together at all. So definitely very welcome for those additions. But do let me know what are your opinion in terms of EXS here, like in terms of this portrait. Like I said again, it's just not going to be for everyone. So do keep that in mind. Not that it sucks, it's just that you're not building that type of playstyle. So, but with that being said, that is going to be pretty much it in terms of the EXS review. But I will catch you guys off on the next one.